welcome to the Chic Show. Today I'll show you how to create beautiful and unique crafts for summer using seed packets, stencils, and rub-on transfers. This playlist is Summer Days, hosted by 6 Kids and a Glue Gun, East Coast Mommy, and Lady Red Crafting. Their channels will be listed in the description box below, along with the fabulous playlist. Project number 1 is a 2-sided block, perfect for a tiered tray. I picked up this block from Hobby Lobby at 90% off, and I'm just going to sand off that glitter. Once the glitter is gone, I gave it 2 coats of white chalk paint. I'll be using 2 of Chalk Couture's stencils on the front and the back. To finish off this side, I'm using some of these rub-on transfers from Dollar Tree, and I just cut them and had them fit on the 2 corners, opposing corners, and I don't know what happened to that footage, so I apologize. And here's the other stencil that I used on the back side.
You spin around, you laugh to yourself, and I see you shine in every color, resting your head.
For this project, I thrifted this metal vase from Goodwill for $1.99. It did have a dent on one side, but we're just going to use the opposite side. And I'm simply going to add a rub-on transfer from IOD. I loved the color of the vase, so I just left it as is. I'm going to burnish the rub-on transfer with the backing tape, and this project is complete. I added a few faux tulips to this vase, and I think it's perfect in my kitchen.
Is reflecting in your deep blue eyes, the day has begun. You spin around, you laugh to yourself, and I see you shine in every color, resting your head.
I picked up this piece from Dollar Tree, and I decided to use the front side as is and flip it over and use the back side with this rub-on transfer that I got from Dollar Tree last year. I'm going to give it the back side a coat of plaster chalk paint. Actually, I'm going to give it 2 coats of plaster chalk paint. Once that was completely dry, I used this transfer. I'm trying to decide exactly where I want it to be on this piece because I'm not going to be using the whole thing. Really, I'm only using the top half of the sun rays. Now I'm going to decide exactly where I want the rays to sit so that I know exactly where to draw my circle for the center part. Once I have that ready to go, I'm using some acrylic paint. I believe it's Sunbeam Yellow or Sunbeam Gold, something like that. It matches this rub-on transfer perfectly. It does take about 3 coats to cover that area. Now I'm using parts of both of these Chalk Couture stencils. For this one, I'm only using Sunshine, and the other one, I'm only using Hello. So it will say Hello Sunshine. I'm taping off those extra places so that I don't get paint where I don't want it. Now I'm using that plaster chalk paint to use as my chalk paste. I don't have any chalk paste, but I just use my chalk paint, and it seems to work pretty well most of the time. I used my heat gun to dry this a little bit before I started on the rub-on transfer. I rubbed around the edges first so I could kind of cut those areas that I didn't want to use, and I just did this using my transfer tool. And once that is on, I burnished it with the backing. And there you have another perfect 2-sided piece for a summer tier tray.
You spin around, you laugh to yourself. And I see you shine in every color, resting your head.
Now for those seed packets. I'm using 8 of these from the Dollar Tree. I shook all the seeds to the top of the packet and then turned it over and cut a notch out of the middle of the bottom to make a banner. I then emptied the seeds into this can for later use. This is burlap from Dollar Tree. I chose the one that had the white polka dots, and I'm cutting out 9 banner shapes just like my seed packets, but a little bit larger. I'm also taking a string out of each edge to fray it a bit. Because the burlap was pretty wrinkled and rolled up, I used a damp cloth and ironed over the top. Now to help dry them a bit, I used a piece of parchment paper and ironed over it. Now I've got to decide what to do to cover up this price tag. So I decided just to use some blue stickers since the top of the package is blue anyway. It's at least less noticeable than the red. I'm using some of these mini clothespins from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to clip them to the center of each seed packet. Before I do anything further with those, I'm going to set them aside and I'm going to work on the burlap banner. I'm using 2 strands of jute twine and I'm tying a knot in each end, and I'm going to be hot gluing this along the back of the burlap banner. Now back to those seed packets. I'm going to be using 3 dollops of glue on the back, and then I'm going to place them down on the burlap banner. For the last banner piece, I'm taking a piece of torn drop cloth and I am stamping on the word bloom and grow using my stamps from IOD. Once I hot glue this to the burlap, this seed packet banner is finished. I hope you've enjoyed these DIYs using seed packets, stencils, and rub-on transfers. If you did, let me know which one is your favorite in the comments below.
In your deep blue eyes, the day has begun. You spin around, you laugh to yourself.
Thanks again to our beautiful hosts for hosting today, and be sure and check out their channels in the description box below, along with all the talented creators on the playlist. Thanks so much for watching. Remember to share the chic. Bye now.